Richie!
Hi, Sin.
Hi, everyone. Richie, what are we doing here today?
It's another episode of our mystifyingly popular series, What, Where, Why, Enemies of Bloodborne. Episode 616!
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Episode 16. Watchdog of the Old Lords.
And this was recommended by Funk.
Thank you, Funk.
Richie,
Yes.
I didn't know that the Thumerians were fans of Ubisoft.
You want to put the little drum noise in there? Or...
I don't know what happened. Where are the drums? Oh, here they are. Okay. I thought that for some reason Zencaster deleted the angelic outline noise, but the drums are there. You ready for the drums?
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a little late, but in your imagination, whoever's listening, just put the drums after the Ubisoft thing.
It's an interactive podcast. You get to edit it yourself as you're listening.
Yes. I just got a crazy idea.
So the Watchdog of the Old Lords is...
No, do you want to hear my crazy idea?
How long is it?
What if I don't edit anything in this podcast we're about to record? It's a risky idea.
Yeah.
We can try. We'll see. If it doesn't work out, I'll just edit out the part where I say I'm not going to edit anything. Okay. So, Richie, what is a watchdog of the Old Lords?
It's a very large... Apparently it's a dog, even though it looks like a crocodile. And it's covered in... It's got, like, patches of hair on it, but it's also got gaps in its skin that fire is coming through. And when you fight it, it can create fire auras and it can vomit out lava. So it's like it's a fire-themed beast, which there are several in the game, which is interesting because they talk about beasts being scared of fire.
That's pretty ironic.
Yeah.
This beast is on fire!
Well, yeah, it is, yeah.
Do you think he's literally on fire and you, like, should put him out? But instead you, like, fight him?
That's what I thought you should do with the bull in Sekiro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt bad for that bull.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is, I think, the official description of the dog. Because the dog, obviously, there's no items or anything that mention the dog. So it says, a giant watchdog with its withered stone-like body covered in a scorching hot flame which watches over the underground ruins. It is said that these unique guards cover themselves in densely heated flame in order to fulfill their duties as guards of the ruins. They are the most ancient beings that reside in the ruins. So, it reminds me a lot of... Because there's the Watchdog of the Old Lords, right? And then there's the Keepers of the Old Lords. And the Keeper of the Old Lords is also a fire thing. And they mention that, like, the Keepers were people who, like, basically cremated themselves. And then when they were cremated, they sort of stood guard over the ruins as these, like, specters that were like an embodiment of the cremated body, so they're all on fire. Yeah.
So, Richie, let me ask you, what are the Old Lords?
The Thumerians.
Are you sure?
Well, that's whose labyrinth it is.
But why doesn't it just say Watchdog of the Thumerians?
It's also called, like, the Old Labyrinth.
Why doesn't it say Watchdog of the Old Thumerians?
The thing is, like, I know you're doing this to troll me, but this is legitimately the kind of question I would get on Reddit all the time.
I'm not trolling you! Because, okay, what is the definition of the word lord?
What, off the top of my head or from the Oxford English Dictionary?
Whichever.
Oh, thank you.
Because doesn't a lord have something to do with land?
Well, all right. Putting to one side that, like, they can call whatever the lords in Dark Souls. They just called the lords. There's like Lord Souls.
Mm-hmm.
The dungeons are land.
So I'm just wondering, does that mean that the Thumerians had some sort of structure where different Thumerians owned different part of the labyrinth?
Oh, feudalism.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I think there was like, it looks like there was a war in the labyrinth between different factions of Thumerians.
So which faction were the dogs guarding specifically?
I don't know, but presumably the ones who didn't lose.
Which one didn't lose?
You know how you're like, this game came out 5 years ago, there's nothing left to say. But then you'll just randomly forget something we've recorded like 6 episodes on.
Oh my god, because you say, how do you define losing, okay? Like, did Queen Annalise lose?
They all died!
What? I feel like we're not on the same level right now. Okay, this podcast is definitely getting edited.
Okay.
So,
my god.
who fought with who? Who
You
fought
know
with
how-
who?
Listen!
Briefly. Listening.
Alright. You know how in the Chalice dungeons, right?
Yeah.
You find piles of corpses and the corpses
Yes, I know,
are wearing the
I know
Yeah,
the
yes.
plates, the armor. Yes, I know.
Yeah. They presumably are the ones that lost because there's no evidence of them ever being like alive in the dungeons. It's only ever the other ones. But it looks like there was a war. The ones that wore armor got driven out and they founded Canehurst, and then the ones that stayed behind are the watchers that we deal with now.
Okay, but you're saying the ones that lost. You see, going out of the labyrinth is not necessarily a loss. They got their
Well-
own castle.
It's not very big. Also got bad news about what happens to the castle.
Oh no, what's the news?
We'll have to play Bloodborne and find out.
No, what I'm saying is, what if the Thumerians who will become Vile Bloods wanted to get out of the labyrinth?
Well, then why they shouldn't have had to fight a war over it? They could have just left.
Well, yeah, maybe it's like, no, you're staying here. You know? Like, think of the Union. If you wanted to get out of the Union, they'd be like, no, you stay here, Union is best, right?
Yeah.
So what if it was a similar situation?
So the Watchdog. This is a very roundabout way of saying...
I feel like you're ignoring my concerns, Richie.
This is a very roundabout way of saying that the Watchdog of the Old Lords is the watchdog of the people who are in the labyrinth, who are the Old Lords.
So, not the people who went on to be Vile Bloods?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Is that
Okay.
good enough?
I don't know, I'm just stuck on the Old Lord stuff. Something seems
Why does
sketchy
that
about the Old Lords.
It's just an evocative name. It's just like, who is in charge of the labyrinth? Oh, the Old Lords. It's like when they call them the Watchers. Like, oh, the Watchers are down there. They don't just have to call them Thumerians all the time.
I just had a vision.
You've been having a lot of those lately. I'm getting concerned.
It's like you come down to the labyrinth, and actually the Thumerian civilization is just like really chill, and they just don't care, but they still want to keep up appearances. So you come down to the labyrinth, and you're like, who are you watching in these labyrinths? And the guy's like, oh, we are watching the old lords, yeah. It's just there are no old lords. There are no great ones there. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Richie.
10 minutes ago, you said, "Do you have 5 minutes?" We
now
haven't
let,
discussed the thing. You've just been arguing about who the old lords are.
now let's move on to the where question.
No. What are... We didn't even answer what. Okay. What do
Oh,
you
okay.
think the old lords are?
Oh, I don't know.
If they're not the Thumerians.
No, I was just thinking that it's peculiar. Peculiar? 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 Peculiar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just thinking that it's peculiar that they call them the old lords. Like the lords should mean something.
It
Like you
means the
said, it's
Thumerians.
no, you said it's evocative. It's evoking a lot of emotions in me, and I need it explained.
You know how Marta Ligarius is called Marta, like, not Ligarius, who was the head of the executioners, but now he's dead?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
martyr means that.
It doesn't mean you were head of the executioners.
It means you were like, whatever, I know you're dead. Like, oh, you're such a martyr. Oh my god, Richie! Oh, do you know sometimes, let's say, like, if you have like a circle of friends, and sometimes you have a friend who's like always like, what do you call it, like fall on the sword or whatever, has this attitude, like, and you're like, oh my god, they're playing such a martyr again. So
Yeah.
what if the name Martyr Lagaris is actually like kind of an insult? The executioners are like, oh my god, he's doing his martyr thing again. We told him, let's get our stuff and get out of the castle. And she's like, no, I must stay behind. And we were like, listen, you can't kill her. No, it's not gonna work. And he's like, no, I will stay here and die in the cold snow. Oh, what a martyr. You know?
So, where do we find the Watchdog of the Old Lords?
Okay.
What I was trying to get across was
Yes.
that they make a big point that, like, beasts are repelled by fire, right?
Yes.
But then when you encounter Thumerians, a lot of them use fire, including
Yay.
like, there are beasts who use it. So there's obviously there's the Lauren clerics, because they're beasts that shoot fireballs. The beast possessed soul can shoot fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this thing in the labyrinth that is made of fire. So you can have like a beast fire hybrid thing. The other thing to note about, so my theory with the beast possessed soul is that those are like, because the Thumerian elder also does a bunch of like pyromancy stuff. When you fight him, he's able to make a weapon out of fire and shoot fireballs and stuff.
So
And
could this be
the
just
Shadows
like
of
a
Yharnam do it as
golem
well,
or something?
Well, no. What I think is, like, I think the reason that the Lauren clerics and the beast possessed souls can do it is that they were the like pyromancer types before they transformed, and they retained the fire. Right. The difference with the Watchdog is that, as far as we can tell, the Watchdog was always just a giant like dog thing. We don't think it was ever a person, because it doesn't have any traces of having
agree
been.
with that.
Yeah, it's like it's always been a quadruped. It might have been you know how the Thumerians like make there's the giants, right? The undead giants.
Yeah.
But if you look at them, they kind of look like they're stitched together a bit, like a Frankenstein's monster thing. So it could be that the Thumerians actually like made the Watchdogs. Like they specifically created them to be guardians of the labyrinth, and they're not a naturally occurring animal.
Yeah, when I was saying they could be like golems or something, that's what I was thinking too, because when you look at the picture, it looks like a dog or whatever, but it does look like, I don't know, it's made of rock or something, you know?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, and it would make sense for them to use, like, to specially made like a fire beast to defend themselves, because the beasts all fear flame. So as a means of stopping beasts, they would use a fire thing. Yeah. Go on. What's so funny now?
You know how it's like that meme where this old guy's like, "Hello, fellow students,"
Mm-hmm.
and so this fire beast is trying to fit in with regular beasts, and he's like, "Hello, fellow beasts," but he is made of fire, and fire hurts them.
Mm. Yeah.
Thank you, Richie.
The other thing is that the Thumerians did burn dogs alive on their little
What the
fires.
fudge?
You know, the
What?
little fires you find in the chalices, they have burning dogs on them.
Oh my god, that's not
So
right.
like the keeper of the old lords is a person who went through a ritual to become a like flame embodiment. So I'm wondering if these were ever like an actual animal that lived in the labyrinth, and they put them, they like set them on fire and burned them, and then they came back as these like flame things because
Oh, that's cool. Like magic and stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yes.
Thank you, Richie. Now, can you tell me where they are?
Well, the first watchdog that you'll encounter is in the Pthumerian labyrinth on layer 3.
Whoa!
Yep. So that's the first, like, it's kind of the first indication that the dungeons are going to get a bit stranger, because the first thing you fight is the giant, which we would know because we've seen them walking around Yharnam. Then you fight the Watchers, which is just like, okay, it's 3 fat guys. But then you suddenly encounter like the watchdog of the old lords, and it's this huge monster you've never seen before. And it has with it, presumably, it's like guarding it, the chalice that gets you access to the central Pthumerian labyrinth. So it's like it's guarding that chalice. Yes.
Thank you, Richie. And one last question. Why are the watchdogs of the old lords?
Well, like we said, it's like guarding the chalice. There's also one in the defilement that's like guarding Queen Yharnam, like on the way down. Yeah. I mean, it's on the way. It's not in Eye Hill, but it's like basically it's guarding the defilement. Yeah.
Thank you, Richie. I just had a really cute vision.
Yeah. Good. Tell
so
us.
It's just like a Thumerian kid's birthday party, and then they bring the cake, and the candles aren't lit, and everybody's looking for a lighter, and then the kid's like, "It's okay, my dog will help." And the Watcher of the Old Lords come running, and then he like breathes on the candles, but he breathes fire, and then the candles are lit. Yay! It's a very cute vision.
Yeah.
It's like a Thumerian Hallmark card type thing.
But it doesn't blow it. It just vomits. So it would destroy the cake.
Oh no, you ruined it. And the house burns down and everybody dies. Thanks a lot, Richie.
Yeah.
You bullied a party to death.
No, I think that was whoever decided to bring their lava vomiting dog with them.
Thank you, Richie.
Do you want to quickly mention Lawrence, because someone's going to?
Is Lawrence a watcher of the old lords?
No, because when you meet Lawrence in the nightmare, he's like on fire and he also vomits out lava.
No. This is not how this works.
Okay.
So Lawrence would technically... What? Go on.
So I was going to say that, like, I brought up beasts that used fire, and I didn't bring up that.
Okay, you know what we're gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna close my ears, and you talk about Lawrence. This way, it'll be like, I didn't know Richie was breaking the rules. Okay. Okay, go.
Okay, so the Lawrence in the nightmare that you fight, that's not actually physically what Lawrence turned into. It's just like a nightmare version of him. Like how things in the nightmare aren't necessarily what they were in the waking world. So what Lawrence turned into probably didn't have lava for blood. Thank you. I think we pretty much covered it. We don't really learn anything about them. They're just guarding the labyrinth they made of fire, and one of them's guarding a chalice.
And they could potentially be some sort of beings brought into life through magic.
Yeah, because they're in the waking world, so they're not like a weird nightmare someone's having of a thing that's coming to life. It's like an actual beast. They just wander around.
Yeah. Thank you, Richie.
Thank you, Sam.
And thanks everyone for listening. Bye.